Tell me what the Bankruptcy Court has developed as far as ways to liquidate Camp Cooley Ranch.
There's three options. A competitive bid option, a stalking horse bid option, and a designated protected buyer bid option.
Here we are in the summer of 2011. What are the next steps as far as how the court would like things to proceed?
Sure, I think the first thing to really, for people to know and to really comment on is the fact that the ranch is in bankruptcy has nothing to do with the ranch itself. Has nothing to do with its ability to be a profitable enterprise. In fact, the ranch has a number of, really unusual cash flow opportunities. The ranch entered into a bankruptcy in 2009, Chapter 11 Protection and Reorganization bankruptcy in 2009, because of some cross-collateralization with some other real estate assets, multifamily housing, other investments that had nothing to do with the ranch. So unfortunately the recession came, and it's obviously a much longer and more detailed story than that, but essentially the recession came. Banks across the country were forced to write down valuations and things like that, and Klaus, like so many other people, and Camp Cooley, like so many other entities, are a victim of the recession. But anyway, that was then and this is now, and here we are. The ranch is going to be sold, and it's going to be sold to the highest offerer or the highest bidder. To answer your question about the bankruptcy process and the court process, Camp Cooley Limited was in court about a week or 10 days ago, and
mid-June.
Mid-June, I think it was the 20th, and we were all in court, and it was a lengthy proceeding, and the court granted Camp Cooley's petition to dispose or sell or liquidate the ranch in three ways. Number one, in August we could hold an auction. This would be a sealed bid auction. It would be by private invitation to qualified bidders only. So that's number one. Number two, there's a stalking horse process that's also authorized by the court, more commonly known as a 363 stalking horse bid process.
Explain that.
That's a process where a buyer, let's say you're a buyer, you want to make an offer on Camp Cooley. The asset is in the bankruptcy court, so you make an offer on Camp Cooley, you submit a bid, and that bid is taken into the bankruptcy court. There are some protections that you would build into that bid. And the reason they call it a stalking horse is because you're the first guy that steps up and puts his money on the table. Now, in a bankruptcy process, other people are allowed to come in and competitively bid on your bid. But the beauty of a stalking horse bid is that you can continue bidding up if you want to. And if you don't bid up and somebody else outbids you, then you get paid for that. You get paid for your efforts. And there's what's called a breakup fee involved in that. Sometimes there's a cost allocation. Let's say, for example, you spent $50,000 on going through the process, doing your due diligence, and so on and so forth. So in your actual stalking horse bid, that would be submitted as a part of your bid process, those protections and those potential reimbursements.
And so this is the second of three ways to market the ranch.
Right. The third way that we can sell the ranch, as approved by the bankruptcy court, is what's called a designated buyer process. And that's very similar to the stalking horse process, except it is an offer that would be submitted by an interested party. And as a part of the negotiation of that offer, the debtor, i.e. Camp Cooley, and the lenders, and the court would actually offer a protected buyer status. So in other words, again, if you're the biggest boy with the biggest hat and the biggest pair of boots, and you step up and put your money where your mouth is and you say, I want this ranch, I want it turnkey, I want everything with it, here is my bid. If that's an acceptable bid to the debtor, and of course it has to be also be approved by the lenders, but if it's over the debt amount, that's not an issue, then that offer could go into the court process and be protected, unlike a stalking horse bid, from anybody else bidding over and above it. So it would be protected from an overbid. So there's three great ways that somebody can own this legacy ranch. You can take your chances at auction, you can qualify, and you can get in a competitive situation and bid with everybody else. You can submit a stalking horse bid and sort of cover your bets if you will.
Right.
Or if you're really smart and you really want this ranch and you really want to take it away from the auction and the stalking horse bid process, then you get around a table, you negotiate a protected, designated buyer bid status offer, and away you go.